Have you ever felt like you have met a person before, even though you are meeting them for the very first time? You sense their distinct energy, and even though you cannot exactly pinpoint what seems so eerily familiar, your heart tells you that it's something worth noting. That's déjà vu, and many believe it's your past lives echoing through the chambers of your consciousness. This strange phenomenon is not limited to people. You may visit a place and feel like you've already been there. Even a life circumstance may present itself in a manner that makes you feel as if you have already experienced it before. While science has categorized it as a glitch in memory, the spiritual leaders and sages have long perpetuated the idea of a spirit enduring through many lifetimes of reincarnation to finally attain salvation. Today, we are going to uncover the truth behind reincarnation and how you can develop clarity over your past lives and use that knowledge for your benefit in this lifetime and beyond. By the end of this video, you will have learned a special 3-step meditation approach that will assist you with all of your spiritual goals, including your desire to know about your past lives. So, let's start with a question first. Do you know what separates you from an animal? What makes you so special as a human? It's your ability to think, reflect, and consciously evolve until you eventually reach your higher self, the other part of you that lives on in the immaterial. Without this reflection and learning, you are at your base level, your animal nature. But how many humans do we actually witness evolving in their thought processes and consciousness? A handful, perhaps. You may have heard stories about them, but you might not have met any such individual in real life. This is because man has forgotten his purpose, his dharma. He has become a neurotic wreck and is now being mercilessly consumed by the emotions of survival. Fear, greed, competition, lies, and deceit. The unquenchable thirst of forging ahead at the expense of the well-being of others. That's not what a human is, and neither was he given such superior mental faculties that he would waste his potential by behaving like an animal. An animal is a being controlled by its instinctual urge to survive, so that's what its entire lifetime revolves around. Nature has wired the animal in such a way that it can only think about its safety and reproduction. That's the aim nature is trying to fulfill through the animals, the continuation of species at all costs. But for a human, it's different. A human can transcend its survival instincts and reach for more. The modern world, however, functions in such a way that your reptilian brain is always active, making you narrow your focus on the immediate threats and discomforts rather than creating meaningful change in the long term. Until you realize that you are much more than your fear and ego, you cannot make progress and tap into your extraordinary potential. Everyone and everything in this universe serves a very unique purpose. Nothing is here for no reason. There is a divine intelligence orchestrating this play. Everything fills a void in this universe. So have you ever thought about what your higher purpose is? The money, success, and relationships you desire are one aspect. The other is your spiritual evolution that has been going on forever. You are not a body, but a soul wearing flesh to play a role in this dimension. There are infinite other dimensions, and your soul has experienced many of them. Through every lifetime, your soul collected some important lessons through unique experiences and adventures. These lessons are your real treasure. It's the only thing you have been carrying when you switched dimensions previously, and it sure is the only thing you will take away when you leave your human costume behind on this planet. That's your only prized possession through this eternal voyage. So, is there anything more important than learning about the deep wisdom that is imprinted onto the fabric of your spirit? There certainly isn't. The past lives you have experienced are an important source of insights that could totally alter the course of your present life and prepare you for spiritual enlightenment. That brings us to the next burning question that so many people and critics of reincarnation especially ask. If our past lives were such a vital stream of information, then why don't we remember any of them at all? Why does a person have to indulge in hypnosis or deep meditation to unveil the truths that are so integral to his spiritual development? Why do we forget them in the first place? The truth is, we don't need those memories in vivid details. We just need to know the lessons learned. Learning and reliving memories of past lives can be painful. You might have done something terribly wrong or might have been a victim of some awful injustice. If your mind had consciously and clearly remembered each and every detail pertaining to those situations, you wouldn't be able to live as you are. You could have been overcome by debilitating anxiety, guilt, or a profound sadness that would have rendered you incapable of functioning as a normal human in this lifetime. Hans Wilhelm, the revered author, explains that because of the divine mercy of the infinite consciousness, we are deliberately protected from those details so that our lives in this realm can continue normally. Secondly, by coming into this realm of time and space, our ability to understand other dimensions has been greatly reduced. For instance, we see every scientist and philosopher confessing that neither is time linear nor is it real. But can you actually live your life right here on the planet without having regard for time? The answer is no. Society and everything around has been organized on the notion of time being linear and only moving in one direction. You might catch glimpses of timelessness in states of deep trance, but living your life without time is next to impossible for our senses, which are so accustomed to the environment. Similarly, there are many other truths that we are simply incapable of comprehending owing to our limited perception. So this veil of forgetfulness that stands between us and our past lives is not a mistake, but rather a conscious curation by the infinite intelligence to give us the best chance at thriving in this lifetime. As far as picking important lessons from past lives is concerned, there are so many ways to accomplish that agenda. We'll delve into that in just a minute. In the field of past life regression, Dr. Brian Weiss is a very sought-after name. He is a hypnotist who has worked with thousands of people, helping them access their past lives. In his book, Many Lives, Many Masters, Weiss talks about the idea of reincarnation, of which he too was a skeptic at first. But it was during a hypnosis session that one of her patients, named Catherine, regressed into her past life. Not only did she talk about her own soul's journey, but she also gave specific details about Weiss's family, which were absolutely correct. Weiss was surprised but convinced that we indeed are eternal souls journeying through various lifetimes and dimensions. We go through infinite cycles of birth, death and rebirth to learn the lessons from our experiences. A soul chooses a precise physical experience for itself to be born into so that it may collect the lessons it is seeking for its evolution. Once these lessons are learned, the soul leaves the mortal body, and that is what we perceive as death in our limited understanding. But as everything is energy in this universe, the soul too is a pure, unadulterated essence. It was neither born nor will it die, but it will manifest itself into infinite forms to acquire wisdom. A soul's karma is the account of all the actions it performed over its lifetime and their consequences. If a soul did something to harm another soul, it may escape the consequences in this lifetime, but not forever. The soul will eventually choose to be born again into the physical to undo the debt and learn the underlying lesson. Dr. Weiss suggests that groups of souls tend to reincarnate together time and time again until they have sufficiently worked on their karmas. The closest relationships that test a person the most might be the biggest lessons he needs to learn on an energetic level. Interestingly, another highly acclaimed psychologist and hypnotherapist, Michael Newton, talked about the same idea in his book, which gives it even more strength. Michael says, "When clients tell me how much they suffered from the actions of family members, my first question to their conscious mind is, if you had not been exposed to this person as a child, what would you now lack in understanding?" It may take a while, but the answer is in our minds. There are spiritual reasons for our being raised as children around certain kinds of people, just as other people are designated to be near us as adults. If you're with a family member or a loved one that tests your limits and you are always in an argument, it's time to stop and ponder. Is there a lesson for both of you to learn there? This idea can potentially change the way you look at your interactions with other humans forever. The original nature of every human is the pure light of God. That's where we originate, and that's where we find our destination. When a soul does something that deviates from God, it essentially builds layers blocking the pure light. The thicker this layer gets, the more time-consuming it becomes to remove it. This is why many souls keep reincarnating over and over again, trying to undo the layers of programming and dirt they knowingly or unknowingly gathered over their lifetimes. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is called samsara. This cycle is what Buddha referred to as suffering, because when the soul is repeatedly reincarnating, it is unable to attain its true purpose, called moksha, or the ultimate union with the divine. Suffering takes place because of desire and attachment, a powerful tool to not only know about your past lives, but also break the loop of suffering is a daily practice of meditation. Meditation slows down the racing thoughts and clears the noise so that you can connect with your deeper consciousness, far beyond the layers of the chaotic conscious mind. To start with your meditation practice, sit in a quiet and serene place where you will not be disturbed. Make sure your shoulders are straight and your spine is tall. This position will help you focus during the meditation. Take a deep breath inwards, hold it for a moment, and then let it out. As you complete the first breath, gently close your eyes. The first step of this special meditation, visualize all the healing frequencies like love, bliss, and enlightenment entering your body with every inhale and with every exhale. See your body getting rid of all the negativity. With each new breath, you will feel progressively calmer as the heavy emotions and energies will slowly move out of you, making space for inner stillness and communion with the divine. After you have attained a deeper level of awareness through breathing, it's time for the second step, to open your Akashic records. They are the energetic log of your soul, containing all the vital information you need to know to grow and prosper on a spiritual level. The access to Akashic records not only primes you spiritually, but also gives you the answers that could have a profoundly positive impact on your material life. Set an intention to download useful information from the Akashic records. With this intention in your mind, focus on your third eye. Your third eye is your spiritual portal to higher dimensions and is located right in the middle of your forehead. To open this portal, focus your breath onto it. As you breathe in, imagine that all the energy is being projected onto the third eye area. See the area being energized and rejuvenated with your all-powerful breath. The longer you breathe into this area, the faster the activation of the third eye will happen for you. But don't expect it to get it right in your first meditation session. See it as if you are building muscle at the gym. Put in the time and energy required every day to see the results of your compounded efforts. This is why every spiritual master has advocated the idea of daily meditation. Without consistency in your practice, you cannot achieve the spiritual evolution you are looking for. After focusing on your third eye for a few minutes, it's finally time for the third and last step of your meditation. This one is about opening your heart so you can be in a receptive mode for love and blessings from infinite intelligence. Love is all there is. Everything is love. It's the frequency at which the entire universe hums. It's the vibration of God. In your quest to release your karmic debt and detach yourself from suffering, love is the energy that you need to fully embrace. Bring all your attention to the center of your chest. This is where your heart chakra is. Breathe into your heart a few times as you did for activating the third eye, and then bring about an emotion of forgiveness for everyone and everything. This includes forgiving yourself, your past, and the people who might have caused you hurt. What is true forgiveness? It is understanding that each creation has their own method of learning and producing, and they're entitled to mistakes, as I am. The growth process isn't perfect, and you must understand that, so you don't always remember people for the hurt you imagined from them in the past. Michael Newton, Memories of the Afterlife. Finally, send love to everyone you know. As you do so, you will notice your heart area feeling bigger, as if it's swelling up with the positivity and radiance of love. That's the exact feeling you should be looking for by the end of your meditation, so that you firmly plant the seed of love in your mind and soul. Practice your meditation every day until it becomes your habit. As you start getting deeper into each of the 3 steps of this meditation, the secrets of your past lives will begin unraveling themselves to you in the most surprising way. You will see signs and synchronicities, and will often feel engulfed by a higher loving presence. All those are indications that you are getting closer to your true self by rising above your humanness. After you get the hang of your daily meditations, you can begin asking specific questions to the Ascended Masters or your spirit guides by the end of the practice, and you will begin receiving answers. Again, in the form of signs and synchronicities. Learning about your past lives is a great way of aligning your spiritual wisdom to your advantage, and if you are not exploring this path, you sure are missing out on something life-changing. So, have you ever had an experience that somehow made you aware of a past life you lived? Share your mystical story with others in the comments down below, and until next time, keep growing and learning.